Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a first impression type of video. My initial plans were to do single reviews for each of these fragrances, but I've kind of been noticing that I just have not been impressed by a lot of the new releases, and I didn't want to keep on putting out negative review after negative review because it just sounds like I don't like anything, and I don't like to sound that way. So today I'm just going to be talking about 4 travel size fragrances that I have here, and it's just going to be kind of like my initial thoughts when I smelled it, if I have any notes on the fragrances, and also what I'm smelling today. And then if I change my mind about them, I will update you guys in the future. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Amy. I do videos on all things girly, especially videos on smelling good. If you like that type of content, don't forget to subscribe and join the glam fam before you leave today's video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here with me today. With that said, let's get right into these fragrances. All right, guys, so I hope everyone is doing great today. So I have here 4 travel size fragrances that I got to try out. I have had this one for so long. I've had this since the holiday season and I just kept forgetting to talk about it. And this is the Nest Balinese coconut oil, and this is the perfume oil, and I am just such a sucker for the packaging. Beautiful. So we have that one. We also have Carolina Herrera's Good Girl Blush, which Good Girl lately has just, I decluttered a lot of my Good Girls and I believe I only kept one. So this one is interesting. Then we have the Valentino Donna Born in Roma Intense. If you guys know how I feel about the original Born in Roma, it's one of my most hated fragrances. I can't do it. So can't wait to get into that one. And then I've had this one too for so long as well, and I completely forgot about it. This is by Rosie Jane, and this is Dulce, which I think I featured in a Sephora haul, if I'm not mistaken, a few months ago. And I just wanted to talk about this one as well. So let's go ahead and let's get started with the first one. All right, so I don't see this on Fragrantica, so I'm just going to read the notes on Sephora. It says that this is a fresh fragrance. It's a fresh solar. The keynotes are coconut, solar frangipani, and creamy sandalwood. And the fragrance description is bask on the beach of Bali with this nourishing perfume oil featuring notes of creamy coconut, tropical tiare blossom, and salted musk. This one, I was never interested in getting the full size because I feel like the travel size is more than enough, in my opinion, because this is not something that I'm going to wear by itself. This is something that I would like to layer with other coconut fragrances, but I will say that this is beautiful. The color of it is gorgeous as well. I do love the full size bottle, which I'm also going to put a picture on the screen, but the full size bottle is it's tempting because it's just beautiful. It's like the actual color of the outside of a coconut, and I love it. And when you put this on, this is just a beautiful musky coconut base. Oh, so yummy. This is so good. If you are the type of person that wears a lot of coconut fragrances when spring and summer come around, and it's just that type of DNA that you really enjoy, this I think is a beautiful step to increase the longevity of the fragrance that you're using, and it's just going to combine with other coconut fragrances perfectly because I feel like there's not too much going on in here. It's like a very simple musky creamy coconut, and I definitely get the salted musk, and I'm usually very picky with salt in my fragrances, but this one is perfect. It just makes you smell warm, like you're sun-kissed, like you're at the beach and the sun is just shining on your skin and you have like a perfect tan. That's kind of just what this makes me think of. It's the perfect coconut musk in my opinion. I don't know how this would wear if you were only to put this on like by itself. I mean, I think for like every day, it would make you smell good if you were to like hug someone or get like very close to someone, but this is not something that's going to project. It's not going to leave a trail, but for bedtime or to layer with coconut fragrances, this is beautiful. It smells so good. It does not smell like a cheap coconut fragrance or anything like that. It does have the sweetness and it does have like that obvious coconut scent, but the musk just makes it so beautiful. It smells more expensive. It just smells beautiful. I love it. It's just gorgeous. It's not like a sickening coconut. It's not too thick. It's gorgeous. I think this for like vacation time, for going to the beach, for going on a cruise, for just fun in the sun, this is going to be perfect this upcoming spring and summer. It's like a hint of sweetness in there. It's sweet, it's musky, it's coconut, it's creamy, gorgeous. That's pretty much all that there is to say about this. It's just a simple fragrance or perfume oil, and they do them perfectly. So in my opinion, they did amazing by adding a coconut oil because their vanilla oil is beautiful. And I have also smelled the, I believe it's called Turkish rose oil, and that one is gorgeous as well. They just came out with this beautiful set at Sephora. I'm going to put a picture of it on the screen with mini bottles of the perfume oils, and I was so tempted to get it, but I'm just trying to cut back on my shopping because I'm pretty much getting close to moving. So I feel like these last few months I need to really control myself, even though I have another Sephora haul coming up. So we gotta get it together. You guys help me out and tell me no more buying for a while, and really just focus on new releases that I find very exciting, something that is like a must-have for me, but I am going to kind of take it back a notch and I want to focus on what I have. Now we're going to move on to Carolina Herrera Good Girl Blush. I'm going to be putting a picture of the full-size bottle for each perfume on the screen. Here is the travel size and how it looks. So this one matches with the colors of the full-size bottle. The full-size bottle is a really pretty heel again, but with pink, gold, and black, which it looks really, really pretty. I love that shade of pink. The main accords for this fragrance are vanilla, citrus, floral, fresh, spicy, powdery, aromatic, sweet, fresh, and rose. The top notes are bergamot, mandarin orange. Middle notes are peony, rose water, and ylang ylang. And the base notes are vanilla and tonka bean. Those notes sound so gorgeous. I'm going to be spraying this into a tester strip, even though I did already spray these on my skin. So the notes that I have are of the way that they smell on my skin. All right, so I have so many thoughts with this fragrance. When I first got it, and I was just like, ooh, yes, finally, something that I'm loving, something that I find like beautiful. By the way, this is not a travel spray. It is a freaking rollerball. We know how we feel about that. Can they just get rid of those? Why? Why are we still doing roller balls? But anyways, I'm gonna put this one on the back of my hand just to like refresh my memory. And I'm going to go along with what I'm smelling today, and then I'll just look over my notes. The opening of it is so gorgeous. It's like the most girly girl fragrance, super bright and flirty. Again, like the types of scents that I really, really love. And it also has like this fluffy, kind of like creamy texture to it as well. And there's a lot of that citrus coming through. So in the opening, when it first opens up, I obsess over the combination of the bergamot, because bergamot just adds like this brightness and this just like refreshing vibe to a fragrance. But the mandarin orange always comes in to mess up a fragrance for me lately. Like, it didn't happen before, but I feel like it's just happening so much now with certain notes that I just don't enjoy in a fragrance. So I feel like if this opened up with bergamot, boom, and it was like this sparkling, refreshing, beautiful opening without that mandarin orange, and then the peony and the rose water and the ylang ylang come in, followed by vanilla and tonka bean, this would have been perfection. I would have gotten a full-size bottle for sure. When it starts to dry down, it starts to smell exactly like Mont Blanc Signature, which I did declutter, and I did get a lot of compliments on that fragrance. I even had someone stop me and ask me what fragrance was I wearing and to write it down for them. The orange just started to come through so strong, and I don't enjoy the combination of orange or citrusy notes, or I shouldn't say citrus notes, because I do love grapefruit and different types of citruses, but when it's specifically like orange or mandarin orange, I just don't enjoy it, especially when it's in a combination with creamy, vanilla, fluffy scents. I feel like that to me just does not go together. But I do know that a lot of people love that combination and a lot of people really enjoy it. And I think that this is so much better than Very Good Girl and Very Good Girl Glam. If I had to choose a fragrance to wear between those three, I would go with the blush for sure. I just don't enjoy the dry down too much. The tonka starts coming through, so it gives it kind of like, I wouldn't say smoky, but it really grounds it out. So it does help. The tonka bean does help. This is definitely a step up compared to the previous fragrances that I reviewed that I just wasn't really feeling too much. This is definitely a step up. It's beautiful, it's pretty, it's sparkling. It is in that same kind of category in the opening as the Clean Reserve release that I really enjoyed, which is Sparkling Sugar, but it quickly changes into something else. It quickly changes into like a very fluffy, creamy, citrusy vanilla with florals, with like pink florals, that peony, the rose. So in my notes, I wrote that this is sexy, it's alluring, with a hint of girly, sweet flirtiness. So that is probably like the best way to describe this fragrance. So if I was rating this from a 1 to a 10, if it was just with bergamot, I would probably say that it's like a 9. But with the mandarin orange, I would have to give it like a 7. If you are looking for a very feminine, beautiful fragrance to wear this spring and summer, I would still tell you to sample this because I feel like a lot of people are going to enjoy this. It's a beautiful scent. I am not saying that I wouldn't wear it or that I don't like it. It's just not something that I'm going to get a full-size bottle of. It's really pretty. It's very, very pretty. If you love Mont Blanc Signature or scents like that are like milky and creamy with citrus and just smell very feminine, then you're really, really going to love Good Girl Blush. So that is my thoughts on it at the moment. I'm going to keep playing around with it even though it's a roller ball. So I don't know, maybe for bedtime and stuff, I'll try it out and see how I feel about it. But based on my skin and my first impressions, I would give it a 7. Before I move on to the next fragrance though, I did want to mention something. I did like a little experiment. So I am going to be kind of like plugging in this primer. So this is by the House of Beau, and this is a nourishing perfume primer, and I received this from Twisted Lily, so I'm going to be leaving the information in the description box along with my code for Twisted Lily in case you do want to order from the website. You can save some money with that code, and I'm going to be leaving this product in the description box. Here is the gorgeous bottle for this primer, and the way that this is supposed to work is you're supposed to spray this all over your skin, let it dry for like a minute, and then you go in with whatever fragrance it is that you use, and it is supposed to help with the wear, the longevity of a fragrance. Now, if I'm being 1000% honest with you, I'm not sure if I have noticed like a difference in wear time of a fragrance with this. I feel like it kind of is the same as when I don't wear this, but I did notice what this does do, and I kind of really enjoy it. So you guys know that I have really dry skin, and I always have to be moisturizing. I always have to exfoliate my skin and really be on top of my skin for my skin to look halfway decent. Like, I see people with just beautiful glowy skin, and for me that's just very hard to achieve because I have to exfoliate a lot, I have to moisturize a lot, I have to just treat my skin a lot. So what I do like about this primer, when you spray this, it's not going to smell like anything. It just kind of smells like a skin musk type of scent. But what I did notice when I was testing the Good Girl blush out is that the side, I put it on both hands. So I put one on one side without the primer, and then I put the primer here and I rolled the perfume on top of the primer. And the day that I was wearing this, I did notice that when my skin is dry, perfumes tend to, it's very easy for a perfume to kind of turn sharp or sour on my skin. So I have to be very careful with that. And I think that's the reason why I can't really wear like salty notes or lychee or rhubarb, because those tend to lean more towards the sour side. And since my skin is dry, I feel like they don't really mesh well with each other. When I had this primer on this side and I smelled this fragrance, the side that didn't have the primer did give off a little bit of like a sharp scent, and the side that I had the primer on smelled soft. It smelled smooth. There was no sharpness. It made the scent kind of smell, I think, like how it would smell with people who don't have dry skin. It kind of gave me, it's called Nourishing Perfume Primer. I feel like it literally gave me a layer of nourished, moisturized skin so that the scent can smell smoother and it can smell more like it's intended to smell. So I think that that is what this primer is perfect for. So I would recommend this for people who have dry skin, and that is what I noticed with it. So in terms of longevity, it's not going to make your perfume last like 14 hours like I wish it would, but it does make perfume smell much better. It makes it smell more smooth and rounded, and it does keep the fragrance there for as many hours as you're going to wear it. I just don't feel like it's a huge difference, but I do like the difference that it does on my skin. So that is the House of Beau Nourishing Perfume Primer. I am going to leave all of the information in the description box for you in case you want to check that out. I also wrote down two things before I move on about Good Girl Blush. I wrote that it gave me a little bit of a headache the day that I was trying it out. And also I wrote, if you have Mont Blanc Signature, you don't need this. So if you already have a bottle of that, I feel like this would be a little redundant in your collection. So I think those are my thoughts on it. Not my favorite. I'm not like super hyped about that release, but it's not the worst either. It's a very pretty feminine scent. Let's move on to, all right, so the main accords for Born in Roma Intense are amber, vanilla, warm spicy, white floral, powdery, and balsamic. The top notes are bourbon, vanilla, and amber. Middle notes are jasmine, and the base is benzoin. I should have known that this is not for me, but I did it just to give you guys a review. So I'm going to try and be as fair as I can, because Born in Roma is just not really the line for me. But I do know how much people absolutely love that fragrance. Born in Roma for me just turns into this screechy, just very thick and heavy. I don't even know how to describe it. I love the actual scent of Born in Roma. When I first smelled it at Sephora, I fell head over heels in love. I remember telling the associate that was helping me to just give it to me, because I did get it when it was first released without even knowing that it was new. Back then, I loved perfumes, but I didn't really keep up with what was new and what was trending. I would just literally walk into Sephora and smell fragrances, and whatever I liked, that's kind of what I would pick up. So Born in Roma, I picked it up without knowing the notes it had or anything, and I loved that fragrance. But I do remember that I did get Born in Roma when I was living in Tampa. It was cooler. It wasn't as hot or tropical as it is where I am now. So I have hope that when I move, I can maybe try Born in Roma during winter, and maybe I will love it. But this one right here is just full of notes that I'm just like, Bourbon vanilla can be super tricky for me. It can make me sick. It can make me nauseous. But then in some other fragrances, it's perfect. So that one could be like a 50-50 note. But then there's amber in the opening. Jasmine, which jasmine lately has really been getting on my nerves. Like, I just cannot stand the smell of like a very strong jasmine. And then benzoin. So this is just, it's a tricky one. So there was a fragrance that I thought of almost immediately when I sprayed this on my skin. Today I'm going to spray it on a tester strip, so I'm going to see if it smells any better. But here is the travel size. Super cute. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's spray this. I will say I really liked the opening of it. Like when I first sprayed it, I really liked it, but it starts to change on you. So the first fragrance that I thought of was Alien Goddess Intense. It's almost the same fragrance, but I like the opening of the Born in Roma Intense so much more than the Alien Goddess Intense. So it's a very tricky thing. On the strip, it smells really good. You know what? I'm gonna spray it on my skin just to get a second. Let's put it right here. I think what I didn't like was the dry down. While that dries on my skin, I'm going to see what I wrote in my notes the day that I actually wore it. I put right away, this reminded me of Alien Goddess Intense. I'm still not sure if I prefer this interpretation better. I do get a strong floral in here that felt a little thick to my stomach. Yeah, I think my skin just does not like these notes, because when I smell it on the tester strip, it actually smells really nice, a little bit like lighter, a little bit airy. I can smell a little bit more of the jasmine in like a pretty way. When I spray this on my skin, it just goes straight to like thick, gooey amber, and the bourbon vanilla gets really cloying. It's so different from what I smell on here. So I'm the problem. I'm the problem, it's me. It definitely doesn't give me that screechy feeling that Born in Roma gives me, so that's a plus. I don't get like that super thick, like feeling that I get with Born in Roma. But this reminds me so much of Alien Goddess Intense. That's kind of all that I'm going back to, is just like a very vanilla amber type of fragrance. Mid dry down, I wrote this starts getting nasty. And I also had to scrub this one off the day that I got it, like the first day. So I'm thinking it's smelling much better today than the first time that I tried it. I don't know, now I'm starting to feel like I might like this one, but I don't know what that is in there. When it starts to dry down, it just starts to get thick. Maybe it's just the benzoin, it's just too thick for me and it's too cloying. So in terms of rating this one, do I think today's one of those filming days where I'm kind of like confused as I'm filming? That's why fragrance is just so, it's something that you do have to try multiple times, and you can't just smell something one time and say, ooh. Sometimes you will smell something and you won't like it and you just know yourself. But there's other times where you will smell a fragrance and you're not too much of a fan of it. But then as you start using it, you start liking it more. So it's just kind of, it's complicated. And I can just keep my Alien Goddess Intense if I wanted this DNA because they're very, very similar. So if you have Alien Goddess Intense, you don't really need Born in Roma Intense. And I kind of feel like I've been saying that a lot with my reviews, like this smells like this smells like that. So if you don't have those fragrances, then you can definitely try these out and it's perfectly fine. But if you don't want a lot of repetition in your collection, then just know if you have the ones that I mentioned, you don't need these. And then last but not least, I think I have another roller ball, which sucks. This one was very, very intriguing to me because I do remember the epic fail of Ellis Brooklyn Vanilla Milk. That to me was just like what is this? I felt like I smelled like burning hair or something when I wore that. Super, super weird. But here we have by Rosie Jane Dulce, which I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna get it right because it's very, very similar to Ellis Brooklyn Vanilla Milk. All right, so Dulce by Rosie Jane. I thought it was a roller ball, but it's not, so good. So the main accords are vanilla, musky, chocolate, woody, powdery, sweet, aromatic, warm, spicy, fresh, spicy, and cacao. The notes are vanilla, chocolate, musk, and hinoki wood. So this right here, let's see, because I haven't smelled it in a long time. This one smells much better than Ellis Brooklyn Vanilla Milk, but I'm still getting like that egg yolk type of texture. But it's much better. I'm gonna put it on my skin. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm gonna smell like so many different things today. So I don't really get like the burning weird part that vanilla milk has. It's just like the weirdest thing ever. So I do kind of get like that underlying sweetness that you would get with vanilla milk without that. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is so not like vanilla milk. This one has like a little bit of, I think it's that wood in there is definitely giving the, like when you're sniffing the fragrance, you do get like that very sweet, thick, kind of like cloying feeling to it. But the wood just comes in and kind of like smooths out that sweetness. Okay, I think I need like a full size of this once I go through this because this smells so good. This smells so good. For those of you who love like gourmand, sweet, chocolatey, just thick, like dulce de leche types of smells, this is so good. And I did have like one or two of you guys asking me to try this one, and I'm sorry that it took me so long, but this is gorgeous. This is what I wanted vanilla milk to be. So you do have that layer of like thick vanilla, creamy, kind of like chocolate gourmand notes, but then that wood really saves it, really makes it amazing and makes it sexy. So it kind of makes it like a sexy gourmand. It's not like, you do smell edible. You see, I'm not crazy, guys. I'm not crazy. My nose, the main accords, when I read them to you guys, I immediately forget what I said. But I wanted to say that I got a musky vibe out of this, but when I saw the wood note, I was like, okay, maybe it's the wood. But people are literally saying vanilla, musky, chocolate, and woody. Yes, that's what you get. And there's also this aromatic and fresh spicy vibe to this. So it is like if you took kind of like that vibe that you get when you're smelling those fragrances that have, for example, like ambrette or ambroxan, or they just have like this very thin, transparent, just beautiful musky touch to them. This has that. And then that wood is almost as if you hugged your boyfriend and you had a little tiny bit of his scent mixed in with like this gourmand sweet scent, if that makes any sense. So there's like this sexiness to it, and then this sweet gourmand touch to it. So beautiful. I think this is my favorite out of the four. I cannot wait for like fall time with this fragrance and winter time. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous. Sweet and it's gourmand, but because of that like fresh, spicy, musky kind of like undertone that it has, I think you can get away with it definitely in spring. I don't know about summertime. I would have to see how it works out in summer. But wow, gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rate them. So I'm going to let you guys know which one is first place, which I think you guys already know. All right, so in first place, I'm going to be putting Dulce by Rosie Jane. Beautiful. I think I haven't smelled something that I loved like this. It's been a while since I smelled something that just like made me, yes, like, you know, that feeling. I haven't had that in a minute. So Dulce is number 1. Then we have the Nest Balinese Coconut at number 2. Beautiful for spring, summer, just anytime that you want like a musky coconut scent. Gorgeous oil to pair with whatever fragrances you want to pair it with. Now, here is where it gets a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if to put this one in third place. If I had to choose third place because of longevity, I would say Born in Roma Intense, because this one is literally almost gone out of my skin. But it's a very, like, it's very soft skin scent already. But if we were going by like actual scent, I think I would prefer to smell like a Good Girl Blush, just because I'm not really into the whole amber thing in fragrances and like really strong benzoin. I just don't really enjoy those. So third place, Good Girl Blush. And then last place, Donna Born in Roma Intense, even though it's not horrible, but it's just not for me. So that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I would love to know, which one of these fragrances have you tried? How do you feel about them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? I can't wait to chat with you guys. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Baby.